So, we got patch notes again for a game most of us are not even playing, because according to several leaks on Reddit, the Battlefield Labs client was updated, and there's some new stuff that the data miners can read out of this. So, as usual, we will be going over everything here in this video with one small change, because after one of Ghost Gaming's videos was taken down for whatever violation, and he only showed screenshots of something, I will not show the actual screenshots of the posts anymore. Instead, I will link them in the description down below so you can check them out if you want to, and as a proof that I'm not just making all of this up. But I think we have to do this, otherwise videos might be taken down from me as well. So what the data miners have found is, first of all, hints to a deluxe edition, but this is not really surprising, I guess, since all former Battlefield games had such an edition, and I would be more surprised if the new Battlefield wouldn't have one. Then there were files found tagged with beta, so maybe some things that are already so far developed that they are considered in beta state, or it's content that will be part of a playable beta that we might see later this year. For former Battlefield games, it was always around August, so I guess we should count with a beta around the same time again. The data miners also report that the Labs client was split into different content bundles, but I'm not quite sure what this actually means. But they say that some of these bundles are live already, while others have a scheduled release date. And for one, it's supposedly June 17th. Now, this could mean that something will happen on June 17th. You can remember we had the reveal of Battlefield 2042 in June, where we got these tweets saying June and boom. And maybe the reveal of the new game will be in June as well, maybe on June 17th. But this would be I think 2 weeks after the Summer Games Fest, where we thought that the reveal would actually happen, so I'm not sure if this even makes any sense. So maybe it just means that this is Labs content that is planned for future playtest, but I'm not a programmer myself, so I don't know how to actually interpret this. Still, I wanted to let you know about the date they found. Maybe this is something to keep in mind. Because alongside of this split into the bundles, the content packs also allegedly appear in the game now with a buy button and a link to a store, but this doesn't work yet. So maybe these content bundles that I mentioned before are different editions of the game or different upgrades like a deluxe edition or something that you can buy in addition to the actual game. Additionally, the data miners say that Battlefield Labs has an intro now that shows the studios working on it, and that in-game music settings have been added to the options. For example, radio volume for the driver and the passenger, or the general volume options. So it seems like in-game radio might also return with the new Battlefield. They also added the 2 languages, Chinese and Japanese, to the playtest, since the playtesting is expanding to Asia, but we heard about this already from official side on the latest blog post. And what was also found in the new files is a mentioning of rented servers and of different options for server browser. So server browser filter, favorites and history is mentioned, but what we don't know yet is if a server browser would again only be available in Portal, or if it would also be available for the main game. But what I found interesting here is that the data miners also mention options like private, ranked, unranked and official for the server browser, so options we've seen in Battlefield 3 and 4 for the last time. And then there's a bit of a mix of stuff that one data miner has put together, and I'm just gonna read this out to make this a bit shorter, but like I said before, links to these posts are in the description below. So we have a mention of commander mode with the option to join as commander, which might mean that human commander could indeed return with the next Battlefield game. Then there are horses, boats and air superiority mentioned with Behemoth like in Battlefield 1. Even though I gotta admit that this sounds a bit strange from what we've seen in League gameplay so far, because we haven't seen anything along those lines. But maybe this is connected to the Commander mode, and maybe it describes the air vehicles that you can call in, so similar to the Commander in Battlefield 4. Then there is a spectator mode mentioned with first and third person views, free camera mode and photo mode in general, a server setting that allows you to switch sides at a new round, and it also says that you can die from gas grenades, so it seems like gas grenades might return with the new Battlefield. I haven't seen them in the League gameplay so far though. And as factions, the data miners mention Britain, Japan, Italy, Russia, Germany, France, and the US, but in different variations. So I assume that these countries are the sub-factions that we've seen in the class leagues already, with the UK belonging to NATO, and then there is a sub-faction with, I don't know how it was actually called, for Pax Armada as well, and these are probably backed by some of these countries. And what was also found in the files is an anti-cheat installer, and I assume we will see EA's own anti-cheat here again, because this was also added to Battlefield 1, 5 and 2042. And the Labs client now has a folder named Single Player, where the English voice acting for the campaign already seems to be present, but different other languages have also been prepared but don't seem to be present in the files yet. And this is the perfect transition to the next topic, because yesterday we got an article where the creative director and the executive producer of Motive Studios talked about how they approached a single-player campaign for the new Battlefield game. Motive Studios is one of the studios that is part of this whole Battlefield development universe, however you want to call it. It's one of those 4 studios, and I think that they stepped in for Ridgeline Games, which was shut down and was the former studio of Marcos Leto, who was actually supposed to develop the single-player campaign. But now it seems like Motive Studios is doing this, and now they talked about how they approach this. And I'm not reading through all of this, of course, since it would take too long, but you can find the link to the full article in the description below if you want to read through it yourself. But to sum it up real quick, what they basically said is that the campaign is inspired by the 2024 movie Civil War and the thriller series Lioness. And I gotta be honest, I haven't seen any of them, so I can't tell you if they're actually good or not. But they're saying that they're interested in the concept of ordinary people put in extraordinary situations, which I guess is the case for this movie and the series, and that this always creates an interesting dynamic in terms of relationships with other people, and that these are elements they're looking to capture in the single-player campaign. Motive Studios also has gained some experience with the campaign of Star Wars Squadrons already, and also with the 2023 remake of Dead Space. So let's hope they will apply this experience and their skills in the next Battlefield, and we get a good and interesting campaign again. Even though I know this might not be interesting for every one of you. And lastly, Temporyal has found some short slow motion clips in the new game files of Battlefield Labs that he has posted over on his Twitter account. By now, they have also been shared multiple times on Reddit, so if you look for them, you should be able to find them, but it's just several clips that are a few seconds long. One of the clips, for example, shows a close-up of a soldier using a defibrillator, or a heli crashing into an unfinished building, which I think is even a map that we haven't seen before, but I have no idea where these clips actually come from or where they belong to. Maybe they're loading screens or something, but like I said, just look for them and you should find them, because of course I cannot show them here in the video for the reasons I have mentioned in the intro. So just a little heads up, if you want to watch this, you have to look for it yourself. And yeah, that was it for today. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. And as usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. I'm the Catwoman, and you are awesome.